is going to be a long video. So if you don't like it, you should be clicked off already, because I'm going to make this one extra long para que se les quite. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me. This is Roger, Working Man Cigars. And tonight, I'm excited about this one, right? Really excited. I know I always say I'm excited about this one, but I am really excited about this one. This is a cigar that I've been wanting to smoke for a long time. Maybe not even smoke. Smoke is the wrong thing. A cigar that I was hunting for and always sought after for a long time, right? Because I have actually had this cigar for a few months, just never smoked it because, again, this overview is going to be long, you guys, right? It's going to be a long video. This one's not going to be that short. I'm going to fucking talk a lot, and it is what it is. This cigar right here is the cigar that I've really been wanting to get my hands on. A cigar that I've been really curious about for such a long time. When I barely started smoking, I used to always look at pictures of these cigars. And before you understand, like, there is no better tier Opus from this band or this rapper or this, that. It's just, a lot of it is opinions. But a lot of what I heard when I had barely started finding out even about Opus was I always heard about the BBMF. That was early on. Now I hear so much about everything else, right? Because you always got the guy that like has smoked everything that will always talk about a different cigar that's out there. But the general consensus was like, I always heard about the purple banded, the Maduro BBMF. So I've always wanted it. Even with Opus, before I even knew what Opus was, man. This was back when I was still into my father, a lot of tatuaje. I remember listening to a Pete Johnson interview, and he was talking about his Opus X tattoo. And I didn't even know what Opus was. I was like, Opus X, like, I know that's an Arturo Fuentes cigar. I'm like, oh, the cigar maker that makes a ton of cigars, because the B&M always has a ton of Arturo Fuentes. I just didn't know anything about this yet, right? So it's just cool, man. I've wanted this cigar for a long time. This, if I have a Mount Rushmore of cigars, as far as to try, right? Because the mind could change whenever you actually smoke them. But if I had a Mount Rushmore of cigars, this one would be up there for cigars that I've always wanted to try, or cigars that I was after. I even had a picture of this cigar in one of my early videos in my thumbnail, just because I love the way this cigar looks. I've always liked this cigar. But anyways, that's a long amount of time to ramble about that. So the funny thing is, right, seeking this cigar, the first year and a half or so, I never saw this cigar anywhere. Never. It wasn't until recently that I kind of learned where to hunt and how to, where to find certain cigars, certain places, where to constantly keep rechecking. And that's all it's about, right? Rechecking. And eventually some things pop up where you're like, oh shit, I can't believe this website had this. And that's usually how you will end up finding certain things. But funny enough, after not being able to find this cigar, not really even looking for it, to be honest, because I thought I'll never really find that stick, maybe someday in my lifetime. And the way I got this cigar is Eric, Smoke One If You Have One, sent this to me. A cigar that's like on my Mount Rushmore. I've always wanted to try, been looking for, think it's such a cool cigar. And the first one I get is a gift from somebody who's just given it to me. And that's crazy to me, right? Like, that's freaking insane. So thank you, Eric. Smoke One If You Have One. If you guys don't know him, check out his channel. You should know him. He makes good videos. I'm always shouting him out on my channel, so you guys should know who he is. But yeah, thanks to him, I'm going to smoke this cigar. I'm a little bit worried about smoking this cigar. I'll tell you guys here in a bit, man. I'm talking way too much right up front. But again, this is going to be a long video. So if you don't like it, you should be clicked off already, because I'm going to make this one extra long para que se les quite. All right, so I'm going to cut this thing. So first of all, it's the Opus X BBMF Maduro. For the longest time, I called these things the Purple Rain. Like, oh, the Purple Rain Opus X. But they are not Purple Rain. Purple Rain is only the 888 Vitola, like the one that's like a Lancero. And you see, this has like this little bit of tobacco. This is stupid. The lighting, I should have fixed it, but you guys know how I do. Gonna cut this thing. I am a little bit worried. Oh man, this is such a nice freaking cigar. This is more in the knife world, because I used to collect knives. There's something called a Safe Queen. Luckily, it's been dry boxed quite a bit, so this thing's like really loose. The bands are pretty loose. So there's a saying in the knife world called the safe queen, and that's a knife that strictly stays in your safe, and that's what these kind of cigars symbolize to me. See, look, it's naked, dude. Took off the top, took off the tobacco on the top, took off the band, and now it's like, I don't know, man. These cigars to me have like a type of elegance. Some people probably like, take it easy, bro. It's just a cigar, but hey. I don't really like these foots though, to be honest. And it has like a cool color change, like, yeah, I never get these foots. I don't like these, man. I always like either clip them or I just keep lighting it till. So the worry with these cigars is always that you're gonna get one, especially in my example where this is like a this is like a grail cigar for me, right? The fear of smoking a grail cigar is that you find out it's not as good as you were hoping. I was gonna say not as good as people say it is, but to be fair, not a lot of people say great things about this cigar. Online, I used to read a lot of stuff, but anybody that I know that has smoked this cigar doesn't have like, you know, great reviews on this cigar. All right, so it's starting to open up a little bit more, but yeah, I'm not getting really any smoke coming through it. It's just the way that these cigars are. The foots on these just sucks. Interesting though. It's got an interesting tasting note right off the bat. So this is kind of reminding me of the Rare Pink Queen of Hearts, which I really enjoy that cigar. I'm getting a nice sweetness, but I'm also getting this like I have said it's like with some dark Fuentes lately, I've been getting this like this pretty apparent, like I every time I taste it I think of BO. It's like a BO kind of thing, but it's also, when it's more mild, it's like a dankiness. I'm using that word that Eric always uses because that's what comes to mind, right? Once it gets stronger, it gets like BO-ish. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And I usually, this flavor that I'm getting right now is kind of off the añejo. So far, it's like a mix between the Queen of Hearts, Rare Pink Queen of Hearts, and the añejo. I'm still not loving the smoke production. It's very hard for me to get smoke out of this thing. So I'm gonna smoke this down a tiny bit, and then I'll check back in once I'm getting consistent smoke, because right now I feel like I have to baby a little bit, so I'm going to pay a little bit of attention to it, and then I'll check back in here in a bit. All right, so as soon as it got past that initial part and it opened up, the smoke production came back really well. The burn's a little bit wonky, but again, like, I love having a crisp burn line and really nice ash, but I don't care if it doesn't have it, right? The cigar's tasting good, that's all that matters. And so far, this cigar is tasting really good. It isn't like a super flavorful cigar. And again, this is another reason that I was worried. I've always made excuses for not smoking this cigar. And deep down, it's because I was scared that it wasn't going to meet expectations and I was going to feel pretty shitty. But by this point, I've learned to like lower my expectations and not expect too much. Because then, you know, it doesn't hurt as much when like a grail cigar you have doesn't smoke great. I mean, it's a good cigar. Don't get me wrong. It's a really good cigar. It's just not great, right? Like, I could think of so many other cigars that so far, at the startup anyways, are a bit better. Lately, I've been sick for like the past week. Not too bad, not enough for me to feel it, but I had like some sinus pressure and some other stuff going on. And every cigar that I smoked this week was shit, man. I've had nothing but bad luck with cigars. Even some cigars that I normally like to smoke, I tried different Vitolazos, so that's another thing, and they weren't great, right? And I remember thinking, like, I just smoked the Mil Diaz Maduro yesterday, and I smoked it in the Edmundo, which I have heard that Edmundo's the worst size, and it was very muted. It wasn't very good. And that's when I started thinking maybe this has something to do with my, you know, me being kind of sick or whatever, that I'm not liking the cigars. So, and also you guys, check out Cigar Hound Dog. I like this logo more than the other one, the Cigar Nerd one. Or does it say Cigar Nerd? Does it say Cigar Hound? Yeah, Cigar Nerd. This like Cigar Nerd logo I think is sick, man. I like it. So check out the merch, you guys. A lot of content creators don't make money. Like even somebody as big as Hound Dog, like he doesn't sell out. He doesn't like, you know, he recommends stuff, but you don't see him like putting in like sponsored things or anything like that. They don't make money, man. So when they have merch and you guys are cool with them, you know, support the friends, man. Support the creators. But yeah, I was like, man, I shouldn't smoke this cigar because I feel a lot better today. But like yesterday, the day before yesterday, it was like the cigars were shit. And I thought, dude, something is this? It was, I tried a Velvet Rat for the first time. Drew Estate Velvet Rat. And it didn't taste like anything. And that's when I knew something's wrong. Something is wrong. So I didn't want to smoke this for that reason, but I have put this in my dry box back in my humidor one other time. And I don't like doing that. I don't like fucking with the oils on cigar. It's very shiny, but I don't like drying out the oils. I don't like messing with it. So I thought, I don't want to do that again. I'm going to smoke it. It is what it is. And I'm glad I'm smoking it because it's tasting very well. But this cigar was never going to be worth it, right? I think you could find these for like 120, 130, maybe $100 here and there. I don't even know what MSRP is on these cigars. I think it's like $65. I think because sometimes you could see that there's a box for $650 for 10 of them. So I think it's $65. I doubt you'll find it at that price, right? Because it's very hard to find these cigars, man. Very hard. So, if you like hunting, if you like searching for cigars and you know, that's the fun in it, then of course find this cigar, look for it, try it, and then you'll be happy. But don't expect something crazy because it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, it tastes, it's a very unique taste. It's a very generic taste from Fuente. It just, you know, again, it reminds me so much of the Queen of Hearts. If you want to try a cigar that's close to this, is the Rare Pink Queen of Hearts. I've smoked that cigar 3 times, which is kind of rare for me to smoke a cigar over and over again like that. And the Queen of Hearts did that to me because it was super good. It is super good. Rare Pink Queen of Hearts. It is almost close to this one, but it's got that little twang to it. So I'm getting a ton of sweetness from the cigar. Almost no pepper. But the retrohell is pretty dulled out. Now, when I retrohell, I had somebody say, like, do you retrohell your cigars? It doesn't look like you do. For one, I don't usually post me smoking. I don't usually post me, like, taking a draw and blowing out smoke. My videos are long enough, so I don't want to put that in the video. I don't know why. And when I do, I always retrohell towards the end and only a little bit. Like, it's more of a habit. Instead of, I've seen some people take a draw and retrohell right off the bat. That shit always kills my sinuses. I don't know how people do that shit. So to me, it just feels like too much and you don't get no flavor. So I always retrohell towards the end. And this one's not really giving me any different tasting note on the retrohell. Yeah, so not getting a super crazy flavor change on the retrohell, but it's still good. It's still good. This cigar, for being a dark Maduro, has a very light component to it. It's not super smooth like some cigars. It still is like a punchier cigar, but it has more of a creamy, this, for being a Maduro, it's got like very nice nuttiness, very nice sweetness, almost no cedar. I got like a little bit of cedar, no leather. I'm more surprised with what the cigar I thought was gonna have, and it doesn't. Now, when I retrohell, I am getting a little tiny bit of a weird note. And this happened to me with the Sin Compromiso. Only when I retrohale. And because the retrohale is a little bit dulled down, it's not very apparent. But when I'm trying to focus a lot, I'm picking up this Lay's potato chip note. I got that from the Sin Compromiso, same thing. I remember thinking like, how do people get chips from their fucking cigar? But it happened to me one time and I thought, oh shit. And this one's kind of giving that to me too. So, I don't mind it. It's not like great, not something like, oh, I hope I get Lay's potato chips in my cigar. But, you know, it's not like something I hate. So it's cool. Right, guys, I'm going to continue smoking this. I'm going to continue to smoke this down. And then I'll check back in a bit. Oh, another thing I was going to say. It's smoking a little bit faster than I'd like. It's smoking really quick. For being, it's not a big cigar. But like Roma Crafts are able to burn for a very long time in their small, short cigars. This one's, not a very long cigar, but I don't know if it's loosely packed or what, but it's burning really quick. Like I'll probably get through this fairly quickly. All right, guys, I'll check back in a bit. All right, so checking back in with the cigar. You can see here the ash that it's got. It's got a nice ash. It's gonna fall off here soon, but it's got a very nice ash. This is a little bit before I have to take off the band. So I just kind of wanted to show that before I took off the band. And I might actually let the ash hang on to this one because it's not really messing with the smoke. Like I mentioned before, the cigar's smoking really quick. And I think that may be like from a loose draw. So the ash doesn't seem to be bothering that at all. It's a very good cigar though. I'm really enjoying it. I had somebody, actually I'm going to dump this ash because it's about to fall off, I think, yeah. Damn, it's actually got like a cone, it's coning. I had somebody ask me on IG, because I posted right now that I was smoking a cigar. I had somebody ask me how it was. And it's like, it's good, man, it's good, but it's nothing crazy, right? Which, it's going to be really rare for you to smoke a cigar that's going to like, completely blow your mind. Like, oh man, this is the best cigar ever. Just because a cigar is super rare, very hard to find, or super expensive, it doesn't automatically mean that it's going to be the best cigar you've ever had, right? And that I think that's fair. But the whole point of it comes down to, do you want to try it? Are you willing to, pay for that cigar? Was it worth it for you? And to me, I'll always say, some people talk about the hunt as if it's like hard, like it wasn't worth all the trouble, wasn't this? That to me, I love, that's a big part of it. That's fun, is the hunt. Hunting for it, Googling, looking it up, questioning whether I should buy this from overseas in this freaking weird website, And I've done it too, and it's bit me in the ass. But yeah, man, this cigar has so much sweetness. Lately, a lot of the cigars that I've been getting intense like sweetness from, very flavorful. And when I say sweetness, I was thinking about this, like what makes this sweet, right? Like in my head, it triggers something that's like, oh, this is a sweet cigar. And sometimes I hear people talk about, that's a flavor bomb. That's a flavorful cigar. And I think sometimes I personally mix those, I use those interchangeably. Because sometimes I'm like, what's that tasty note? It's like, I can't say it's like the dried fruit tasty note. It's like the roasted marshmallow note. What is it? I don't know, but it's sweet. It's like, I think it's sweet. It's just super flavorful. And I've started to realize that lately, because when I smoked the Murcielago, Espinosa Murcielago, that cigar was super pepper heavy, but it was very flavorful, to the point where I'm like, oh, it's got sweetness, but tons of pepper. And it's like, it's not sweet. It's just a flavor bomb. It's got a ton of flavor, like opposed to like a muted cigar. Wow, this cigar is really good. I recently Pabst Humidor. You guys know who he is. Pabst is cool. He smokes a lot of great cigars, but he never smoked an Andalusian Bull. So I sent him one, and I'm like, hey, dude, but you got to let it rest for a little bit, because those cigars, For some reason, they taste better when they've been rested. And I had it for like 4 or 5 months, and he let it sit for like another month or something. And he tried it, and he's like, hey man, it didn't blow me away. It wasn't a bad cigar, but it wasn't a great cigar. Like, I don't know what everybody's issue is with this. And I do understand it, because the first Andalusian Bull that I ever smoked, I actually posted it on my IG. It was like maybe 6 months ago or so. And I smoked that cigar, and it didn't do much for me. It was good, but it wasn't like amazing, or it wasn't whatever, right? And but it was a good cigar. And I remember thinking, damn man, people hype this cigar up so much, and it's not that great. But then I smoked one that Peter sent me that had like 2 years of age, and that freaking cigar was amazing. One of my favorite cigars that I've smoked this year was that Andalusian Bull. And I'm not the only one that says this. A lot of people say, and that's sometimes you have to wonder, does everybody say this because it's true, or does everybody say it because everybody says it? You know what I mean? Like everybody says Connecticut cigars are for beginners. So then it's like everybody says Connecticut's are for beginners. Even though I think Connecticut's are pepper heavy. Some of them are very punchy. Some of them have a lot of strength. Some of them are very bitter. Why would that be a beginner cigar? You know what I mean? It's like different subject. So one thing with that is just meeting expectations. Sometimes expectations could be set too high. And you're just opening yourself up to be let down. Because that can happen. That's going to happen more 9 times out of 10. You'll always get people that will say, let's say the unicorn, for example, right? The brulee unicorn that I smoked, blue unicorn that I smoked. People will say, how good was it? It was great. It was amazing. One of my top cigars of the year. Was it worth $100, or is there any other cigar you would have liked to smoke that cost less? And if you say, yeah, there's this cigar that I like, and so I think I like it more than this one, then instantly they're like, then it's a fail. That cigar is not worth $100, because you could easily smoke this $25 cigar and it's just as good or better. But that's not the point, right? Like, to me, that's not the point. I think this is a beginner smoker problem, where you want to smoke all this new shit and different stuff. I think once you've been smoking for a long time, you've learned your palate, you know what you like, and you're not experimenting. That's why a lot of us beginner smokers buy like subscriptions, and a lot of cigar smokers that are experienced will tell you that's a waste of money. But because they don't see the fun in trying something new, but we do. Obviously, this is not set in stone. This is just my opinion, right? But that's usually what I've noticed, is a lot of beginner smokers like the packs. A lot of experienced ones say they'd rather just spend the money towards cigars they know that they're going to like. So even though I like the Mil Diaz Maduro Sublime, as much as I've enjoyed this cigar, even though I've enjoyed that cigar, that's like $18 or something, the same that I've enjoyed this cigar, does that mean you will never want to smoke this cigar? No. Right, then you would only smoke one thing that you know you like and you know that you enjoy. If you really like the Brick House Maduro, does that mean you're only ever going to smoke that one because that one is cheaper than almost every other cigar that you will kind of like or you like? Does that what that mean? No, to me that doesn't make sense. I would still want to smoke this cigar at least once, right? That's the thing. If I liked this cigar a lot more than the Mil Diaz Maduro, like on a scale from 1 to 10, if the Mil Diaz Maduro Sublime is like an 8, and if this was a 10, that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and start smoking these all the time. It doesn't mean that. It means it's going to be a treat. It means I'm going to enjoy smoking it every now and then. And if I ever see these again, I mean, I probably will buy another one because they're hard to come by. And I just realized that it is pretty good. It is a good cigar. So that's where like you get into these weird things about like, is the ultimate question is, how much was that cigar? $20. Damn, did you like it more than that $12 cigar? No, I like the 12 one a little bit more. Then never smoke that cigar again, even though you think it's good. I mean, that's not usually, I don't think that's the right way to look at things, because that's not the way I look at things, right? So it's easy for me to say that. I hate when people say things, again, I hate when people say things as fact when it's just kind of their view on things, right? The other day I was on the live with Matt's 20K live. He reached Cigar Hound Dog's 20,000 subscriber live. And Innocent was on there, and he was in Sanja's shop. And there was a chick there that was one of Matt's followers or something, and she jumped on the live for a little bit. And I don't know what the question came up, but I said, my father. I was talking about my father's cigars, and I was like, but they have to be sat for a bit. Because if you don't let them sit for a bit, they're never as enjoyable. And then she gave her input, and she's like, no, she gave her input, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was kind of like, no, like letting them sit doesn't matter. You're going to get what you're going to get, and that's it. Like, and I remember thinking, this freaking lady just gave her opinion as a fact based for my experience. Like, she's just talking for me for my experience. And I was like, what? Like, that's stupid. If you tell me you like this cigar, if you told me that you like the Brulee more than you like this cigar, I can't tell you, no, you're wrong. That's not right. Actually, this one is better. You actually like this one more. I can't, like, how can I do that? Right? But there's people like that out there who will say, like, no, this is wrong, this is right, this is what you're gonna get. And I remember thinking, like, this lady, like, she's just a follower, she jumped on, cool, but that was a stupid thing to say. It's like you can't speak for somebody else's experience. That's how I took it. Maybe I misunderstood it, right? That's possible too. But I do know a lot of people that have this way of thinking of, like, what I say is right. Sanj says that. Sanj says a cigar, you should get a cigar, it should be ready to be smoked right away. You shouldn't have to let it sit, this and that. And I get it, and I understand, and I agree with him. It should be like that, but that's not always the case. Everybody likes Andalusian Bull, but most people know that if an Andalusian Bull is rested for a long time, they taste better. The flavors change. It's not just the pepper or the punchiness kind of softens up. It's not just that. It gets more complex. It changes. Don't believe me? Ask somebody who's done it or try it yourself. Am I promising you that it's going to happen for you? No, because that's the thing. This is your experience. I'm always talking about my experience. That's why these cigar overviews are overviews and not reviews. Because I don't want anybody telling me you're wrong about that. It's like, well, no. You can't tell me what I like. You can't tell me how I should like something. I smoke multiple cigars at a time. You guys know that. And I have people always joking about it, right? Like, oh, Roger's smoking multiple cigars at a time. And I used to feel guilty about doing it. I'm like, damn, people are going to think I'm being wasteful. People are going to think, like, I'm throwing cigars away. But that's just the way I enjoy smoking cigars. And even though a lot of my friends joke around about it, they always know, like, smoke how you like, smoke what you like, smoke it how you like, enjoy it how you like. Thank you. Because that's what it is. Now I don't hide it. I'll smoke multiple cigars at a time because, like, it's usually only if I'm not really liking a cigar, I'll pick up the other one. I'll smoke multiple cigars at a time because that's how I enjoy smoking cigars. Especially if I'm on Discord or talking to somebody, if I'm going to be out here for a long time, and I know I'm eventually going to smoke like 2 cigars or so, I don't want to wait to finish one if I want to try the other one a lot, you know? So this cigar, though, has been so good that I didn't have to do any of that. I'm just smoking this one. Usually when I do overviews, I don't mix cigars because I do feel a level of responsibility. Even though I do always say these are not reviews, do not purchase things based off what I'm telling you, I still feel a sense of responsibility. So I don't do that. All right, guys. Well, I'm getting close to the final third here. I'm going to go ahead and finish this thing down, and then I'll check back in one more time. All right. All right. So I am finishing up with this Opus X BBMF. Man, this was a special cigar. All right, moved my light just to be able to show it. Let's see if it worked. Look at that. Dude, the lighting in here, it doesn't suck. I suck. Like, I always say the lighting sucks. It's not the lighting. It's just me. It's just like the way that I set up the lights. I'll move it right now. Does this look really bad? Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. I should probably move it. God damn. Man, I suck at this YouTube shit, man. All right, so, damn, man, I'm getting a phone call for work. But yeah, guys, this was a great cigar. Special cigar. Now the light's in my face. So, really good cigar. Killer cigar. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyable cigar, right? Which the worry about... I was talking to My Cigar Stash right now on Instagram. And he's like, it's crazy how we will spend over $100 on a cigar and then they suck. And it's like, that's true, man. That does happen a lot. Especially when the cigar is not MSRP'd at that price, right? There's a difference between a unicorn where Steve Saka says this cigar should be worth $100, that's the price, and a difference between when Arturo Fuentes says this cigar should be worth $50 and people are selling it for $120 or $130. That's different, right? What can happen is you can get a cigar like this that's expensive, that you've been trying to find, and you buy it really excited, and it ends up being a horrible cigar. Maybe not horrible, but you think it's horrible because of the price. And luckily, the cigar was not that. It was enjoyable. It was a great experience. I am really glad that I got to smoke this cigar. But if I found them and they're super marked up and it's just available, I don't think I would get it because it's not worth that price. I wanted the experience. I wanted to try it. For me, it was worth... Paying that amount of money would have been worth it. And I say it's worth it. You guys may be thinking, bullshit, Roger, the cigar was gifted to you. And that is true. This cigar was graciously gifted to me. And this experience is all thanks to Eric Smoking if you have one. So again, Eric, thank you, man. Thank you. Freaking great cigar. But I did buy one as well. I bought one after because I'm telling you, I felt bad. I put off smoking it for so long. And I didn't want to smoke it without having like a replacement. So yeah, this cigar, wanted to try it. Damn, I keep getting phone calls from work and it's really distracting me. I'm just wondering what they want. But yeah, guys, it was a great experience, and I did buy one for, I think it was like $120. I don't think I would buy one again just because I got the experience, I got what I wanted from it, and that's it. You know, like, is it worth that price? No cigar is worth this much. If you've been seeking this cigar out and you're debating, like, if you do find it, you're like, is it worth it? Should I spend it? And it's really hurting you to buy it, you're not going to get anything out of it that's going to be amazing or knock your socks off where you're like, so glad I spent that. Based off my opinion, right? Based off my experience anyways. That's all I will say. And again, you guys, Cigar Hound Dog merch. This is my Cigars Unbanded shirt. It's hard to see, but my Cigars Unbanded shirt. I love these like baseball shirts. These shirts are freaking sick. I've worn this thing like 3 times already. My wife was like, you got to stop wearing that shirt. And she's right. I got to stop wearing it so much. But I freaking love this shirt. You guys like the shirt, like the merch, man. Help people out. Help us out. Go out there, buy the merch. You know, it helps out a little bit. So, and don't forget, I never talk about Unbanded. I freaking love Cigars Unbanded. I love doing that live. I love everybody interacting with us on there. And I don't talk about it enough on here, but we're hoping more people will start enjoying that live. More people will start joining us, checking it out, and having fun with us, because we can get pretty wild. We do have very fun conversations, and I always look forward to doing them. So hopefully you guys can join, check it out, Cigars Unbanded. I will put a link in the description for the channel to go to the Cigars Unbanded channel to watch the lives. They're usually on Thursdays unless stated otherwise. And yeah, you guys, hopefully I see you guys there. And if not, I'll see you guys on the next review, all right? All right, thank you.